I looked at my battered, frail body lying in a pool of blood. Next to me was my adopted son, Evan. I treated him like my own, but he turned out to be nothing short of a monster. He not only caused the deaths of my Mark and our unborn child, but my mother's death was also linked to him. Today, I finally took him down with me. But there's still a part of me that's unsatisfied. My life was ruined because of him. If I could do it all over, I would stop it. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the moment I found out I was pregnant. Evan was bringing over a bowl of medicine to induce a miscarriage. In my previous life, I naively believed him and thought it was a tonic for the baby. This time, I won't be fooled. Evan, just leave it there. I'm not feeling like drinking it right now. I pretended to feel uncomfortable and waited for him to leave the room. Once he was gone, I quickly poured the medicine out the window, saving the dregs. Right now, my husband, Mark, still trusts Evan. I can't just outright say that the person he trusts is trying to hurt me. I also can't tell him I've been reborn. He wouldn't believe me. Mom, are you feeling better? You should drink the medicine before it gets cold and loses its effect. In the past, Evan was great at pretending to be understanding and fooled everyone. Looking at his phony expression, I felt like smashing the empty bowl in his face and shattering his facade. But I knew the timing wasn't right. Everyone still trusted him, and I couldn't win this way. I already drank it. You can take the empty bowl. That night, Mark finally came home from work. Seeing his beloved face again felt surreal. He was whole. His legs weren't twisted, and his face wasn't contorted. I choked up, Mark. Seeing my tears, Mark rushed over and hugged me. What's wrong? Is it the pregnancy making you uncomfortable? She said she felt a bit off earlier and drank the medicine later than usual today, Evan interjected smoothly. Evan was too good at pretending. He remembered all our interests, knew our weak points, and easily got close to people with just a few words. I couldn't show any weaknesses. I wiped my tears away, blaming it on pregnancy hormones. Mark, did we change the medicine? I've been feeling a bit of stomach pain after drinking it. Mark and Evan's expressions shifted. We haven't changed it. Why are you in pain? Mark asked anxiously. Maybe the medicine's too strong. Next time, we should use fewer ingredients, Evan suggested quickly, trying to cover up. Maybe we should get this checked out. We're not doctors, Evan pushed further. I couldn't let him achieve his goal. I quickly disagreed. Right, Evan, you're not knowledgeable about medicine. Don't make random suggestions. This child came after 10 years of marriage and meant the world to both me and Mark. He wouldn't let Evan mess it up. Mark, Evan's schoolwork is heavy. He might accidentally ruin the medicine, which could be bad for our child. Let's not have him make it anymore. I acted like I was looking out for Evan. Dad, I promised to do it right, Evan panicked. No more, Evan. I'll handle it, Mark relented, listening to me. Seeing Evan's fleeting angry expression, I felt relieved. My child was safe for now. The next day, Mark took time off work to take me to the hospital. Mark always put me first. Even when we lost a child, he never blamed me. In my past life, I let grief cloud my judgment and allowed Evan to drive a wedge between us. Watching Mark take care of everything, I felt a sting of regret for how distant we became. Once home, Mark busied himself preparing medicine for me. Mom, there's something I need to tell you, Evan said, pretending to be concerned. Go ahead. I glanced at him, then turned away. I couldn't stand to look at him. I saw Dad with a woman at the mall. I didn't want to say anything, but I was worried you'd be upset. He'd pulled the same stunt before. Back then, still grieving, I didn't question Evan's sincerity and didn't ask Mark for an explanation. It led to a huge fight with Mark because I wouldn't listen. Later, during Evan's taunts, I learned the woman was just a colleague and Mark was planning a surprise. This time, I wouldn't fall for it. Oh, really? I'll just ask him about it then. Mom. Evan hurriedly tried to stop me. I ignored him and called for Mark, confronting him in front of Evan. Mark, Evan said he saw you shopping with a woman. Are you leaving me? I exaggerated the situation. I never said that, Evan quickly denied. Kathy, that's not true, Mark said, panicking, not giving Evan room to explain. Seeing Mark ignore Evan's attempt to explain, I caught a glimpse of malice in Evan's eyes. Evan, why didn't you ask me for the truth before telling your mom? Mark scolded him. Mark, don't be mad. Maybe Evan was worried I'd get upset. I pretended to placate him, knowing he worried about my health. Evan, your mom's pregnant. What if she's stressed because of this and got ill? I'm disappointed in you. Dad, no, it wasn't on purpose. Evan trying to explain doesn't change how I, Mark, feel about him. Mark, I noticed Evan seems pretty free after school, and with only 2 years until college entrance exams, we should enroll him in a tutoring class. We can't let him have free time to cause trouble, so let's keep him busy with a tutoring class, giving him less time to cause harm. Mark didn't argue with me, and Evan didn't get a chance to speak either. He just had to go along with it. Dad, I ran into Aunt Kate a few days ago, and she said she wants to visit Mom. Why is she coming? To cause trouble? Mark's mood turned dark again. Mark's parents died early, and at first, Kate didn't recognize him. After Mark and I got married and improved financially, she started sucking up to him. She doesn't like me, thinking I'm a bad influence on Mark. Every time she visits, she irritates me. In a past life, after Mark died, she teamed up with Evan to take half my assets, leaving me frail, allowing Evan to eventually imprison me. It's okay, Mark. Maybe she misses us, let her come. I'll make sure their relationship doesn't get too tense. Kathy, I heard from Evan you're pregnant. I'm thrilled, so I brought some stuff to see you. Kate, a rural woman with little education, always looking for something for nothing. This time she brought just a few eggs. Kate, thank you, but you know I can't use much since I'm pregnant. Why don't you take them? I made her intentions clear. Oh, Kathy, I misjudged you, you're always thinking of me. Kate was pleased to hear that and praised me. But I hinted at something more. What's the catch? She was getting anxious. I gave Evan the valuable stuff, but he said you wouldn't need it, so he sold it all. Kate, I know you were a huge help to Mark. Without you, he wouldn't be where he is today. I wanted to repay you, but, well, Evan. Never mind. I put her on a pedestal, knowing she wouldn't let it go. Evan seems to be getting out soon, so I'll head over to pick him up. No, Kathy, it's okay, I'll go. You're pregnant, remember? I can handle it. Before I could refuse, she left. Evan, where's my money? Evan barely left the school building when Kate caught him. Money? Kate, weren't you just at my house? Evan clearly didn't expect she'd come to the school. Hey everyone. He's stolen my money, come look. More and more people stopped and stared, and Evan started panicking. I didn't take your money, let go of me. With no money exchange happening, Kate dramatically sat down, crying how ungrateful and heartless Evan was, calling him a thief. People started talking, giving Evan judgmental looks, damaging his image among classmates. No one questioned the truth, they only believed what they saw and heard, just how the world works. Unable to bear the harassment, Evan ended up giving Kate all his money just to get her off his back, then dejectedly headed back to tutoring. Seeing Evan's frustration, I was finally satisfied and ready to head home. Kathy, long time no see. You're looking quite round these days. A man with a judgmental look scanned me from head to toe. The sudden arrival was Peter, my neighbor who's always had an eye for me. When Mark was around, he'd be more restrained, though his mouth wasn't. In a past life, after Mark passed, he often tried to take advantage, even more so when I was imprisoned by Evan. When he found out, he didn't help but only took advantage. Now, just seeing him makes me shake as memories flood back. Unable to bear it, I ran to the side and threw up. Oh wow, Kathy, you're actually throwing up. The smell of smoke surrounded me, making me vomit even more. Not only did he not back off, but he laid his hand on my back, moving it up and down. With a bang, Peter found himself on my fresh vomit. Peter, you dare touch my wife? I'll kill you. My Mark, he's still here this time, I'm not alone like last time. Mark, stop fighting. I wanted to beat him to death right there, but we're living in a lawful society. I can't take the law into my own hands. Hearing my voice, Mark stopped, seeing my pale face, he comforted me, gently stroking my hair. Mark gave me a huge sense of safety, and I could finally face Peter, my past fear. Mark, I want to call the cops, make sure he goes to jail for life. A beaten-up Peter played the victim, threatening to sue. Peter, don't think no one knows what you've done. Call the cops? I'll go first. Peter briefly panicked but soon regained his defiance. Go ahead, who's afraid? So we all ended up at the police station, with Peter claiming Mark attacked him without reason. With Mark by my side, I bravely told them how he harassed me. The cops recognized him and checked the database, finding he was recently involved in a hit and run. Last life, Evan intervened timely, and their chat revealed Peter's past crimes, only unpunished. Peter didn't expect the police to link the cases. He tried to backtrack his report, but the police station isn't a revolving door. In the end, the police ruled Mark acted in self-defense, and Peter faced multiple charges, landing him in jail. This life, I finally got to send him there myself. Having to write statements took time, and Mark comforted me all night, worried about my slightest discomfort. What he didn't know was as long as he was there, I feared nothing. Mark, if you can't protect my daughter, then get a divorce. As soon as we opened the door, a woman was sitting on the sofa waiting for us. Mom, why are you here? Mark quickly asked. My daughter went through such a big deal, how could I not come? Mom. Seeing my mom standing there all fine in front of me again made my emotions swirl once more. I rushed into her warm embrace, feeling that familiar scent. Seeing my loved ones again felt so good. What's wrong, Kathy? Is this guy treating you badly? My mom noticed I was acting differently and quickly asked. No, Mom, I just miss you so much. Ever since adopting Evan, things haven't been great between my mom and Mark. Now, they're the only ones I care about, and I can't let them drift apart. What happened today? Evan called me tonight, said you all weren't back yet? I knew that kid had bad intentions, using my mom's love for me to mess up her relationship with Mark. I explained the day's events to my mom, and her look towards Mark finally softened a bit. That's what a man should do. For once, my mom actually praised Mark. Mom, drink the medicine. I said. You were shocked today, it's not good for the baby. Evan came out with a bowl of medicine. Kathy, just drink it. Though Mom never really liked Evan, the medicine came at the right time. I can't risk drinking anything he gives me. As he handed me the bowl, I pretended to fumble and spilled it on the floor. Mom, I didn't mean it. Please don't be mad at me. Evan pretended to be scared of me and immediately cleaned up the mess by hand, deliberately cutting himself. Kathy, it's just a bowl of medicine, you shouldn't blame the kid. Mark, who just came out, seemed surprised, seeing Evan's bleeding hand. My Kathy hasn't said a word against any of your family. My mom couldn't stand me being wronged and shot back immediately. Mom, that's not what I meant. What do you mean by that? Back then, I opposed adopting that kid. Who knew? Mom, stop, Mark didn't mean it. Adopting a kid like him brings trouble, making my mom and Mark argue with just a word. It's too late. Let's just rest for now. Mark, you should wrap up Evan's hand properly. I'm sleeping with Mom tonight. Kathy, Mark tried explaining, but I didn't give him a chance and escorted my mom to her room. Turning back, I saw Evan with a smug smile. Mom, calm down. Mark really didn't mean it. After taking Mom into the room, I locked the door and pulled out a box from under the bed. You keep defending him, Mom worriedly looked at me. Evan. I've always felt he's got a sneaky side, but no one believed me, she said. Mark insisted on adopting him. In my past life, Mom never shared her thoughts on Evan and only showed a bit of bias against Mark. Who would have thought it was due to Evan? Sometimes, not heeding elders' advice really is a loss. Mom, take a look at this. During my last hospital visit, I had the doctor inspect my leftover medicine, which turned out to be a slow-acting abortion drug. I had the doctor give me a report for proof, just in case. Mom, you have to keep what I tell you next a secret. I told her everything that happened before I was reborn, along with the proof, revealing Evan's true nature. Kathy, you've suffered so much. Listening to what I went through, Mom's tears welled up, hugging me tight. Her trust made me drop my defenses, crying out loud, finally venting the past life's grievances. Mom will always believe in you. My Kathy, how could you endure that? Mom lovingly cupped my face. Hearing about my painful past made her wish she could take on my suffering for me. Parents are always our solid support. As long as they're here, I have a safety net. Mom, Mark, and you are my only family now. You are my support, you can't have any rifts between you two. I seized the chance to express my wishes. During critical moments, Mom wouldn't get mad over minor things with Mark anymore. Alright. I can't let my Kathy go through such pain again. Gradually, our emotions calmed down. Dad, Grandma is upset with me, isn't she? Should I not be here? Evan started sowing discord between Mom and Mark again. Grandma's mad at me, not you. Mark, looking sad, turned and headed to the guest room. Hearing Mark defend Mom, Evan clenched his fists, reopening his bandaged wound, causing fresh blood to flow again. The next day, after chatting with Mom all night, I realized I couldn't rashly kick Evan out. We have to gradually expose his true colors. Mark, Kathy's had so much stress with the pregnancy lately, I thought of doing some good. How about we take some things to Evan's old orphanage? Sure. Mark, though puzzled by my mom's sudden friendliness, agreed respectfully. Grandma, take me along. I want to see the orphanage director, Lily. Evan quickly intervened. All right. I agreed right away, not needing Mark's consent. I wanted to see what he's hiding. In the past life, when he abused me, Evan often mentioned how he could have been adopted by a wealthy family. Every time he got upset with life, he'd drag me into the bathroom and beat me, sometimes leaving me starving for 3-4 days. I never wronged Evan. He refused to change his name, and we respected that, giving him the best life and education. Turns out, we raised an ungrateful person. This time, I have to understand the reason. Lily, I want to know more about Evan before we adopted him. I cut straight to the chase. Upon arriving at the orphanage, Mom got Evan away so I could have a one-on-one with Lily for insight. Kathy, I figured you'd ask sooner or later. Actually, I didn't quite approve when you adopted Evan. Though Evan was popular in the orphanage, I once caught him cutting up other kids' toys with scissors. He was only 5 then. I was genuinely surprised when y'all adopted him since he was already 10 at the time, past the prime age for adoption. Miss Kathy, I hope you don't mind me asking, but why did you decide to adopt him? Actually, adopting Evan was Mark's decision. Initially, we planned to adopt a younger child. But somehow, while Mark was wandering around behind the orphanage, he accidentally fell into a ditch. If not for Evan, Mark might not have made it out alive. Grateful for Evan saving his life, Mark chose to adopt him, disregarding both my mom's and my wishes. This decision also sparked some discontent between Mark and my mom. Looking back now, that slip might not have been as accidental as it seemed. You liar. I'll beat you to death. A sudden ruckus came from the front yard. Your mom and dad should have been mine. I went to the front yard with the dean. Evan and a boy about 10 were fighting, with Mark trying to break it up. Evan, you thief. You stole my parents away. Jack, shut up. You're just saying nonsense. In a past life, Jack was a cop. He was helping me with medication while gathering clues and promising to bring Evan to justice during my captivity. Sadly, I never got to see him again. I never imagined he was the child originally meant for us. Despite our brief time together, Jack was grateful and always helpful. Evan, on the other hand, never appreciated anything and only held resentment. In the scuffle, Evan was losing because he kept trying to cover Jack's mouth, preventing him from speaking up. I quickly realized Evan had a secret that Jack knew about. Mom and I exchanged glances, and she pulled Jack away. Evan, what's going on? Just tell me, I'll handle it for you. I feigned support for Evan, but I was really just encouraging Jack to reveal the truth. Nothing, that kid's falsely accusing me. Evan avoided looking at me and Mark. You liar. Evan, you stole my parents. If you hadn't tricked them, they never would have adopted you. Mark was shocked and let go of Evan. Evan, is this true? Dad, no. I was so young back then, always just trying to avoid his bullying. How could I have planned anything else? Don't you believe me over him? Evan knew Mark's weakness well, his trust in family. Sure enough, Mark started to waver. Mark, maybe we should hear the other side first, I suggested, trying to stabilize Mark. Seeing Mark begin to doubt, Evan spoke up first. Jack, you've always been jealous of me since we were kids. You used to take my toys, and now you want to take my parents. Tears streamed down Evan's face as he threw himself into Mark's arms. Evan, you're lying. Evan had perfected his act over the years, quickly twisting Jack's words into jealousy. Jack, naturally, couldn't compete with Evan's cunning. Mom and Dad, I've got a headache. Let's just leave. Evan wanted to use this as an opportunity to exit, but this time I wouldn't let him walk away scot-free. We must clarify the situation first, Mark, I said firmly, holding them back. Jack, tell us what happened. I won't protect him just because he's family, I declared, directing my comment at Evan. Mom, you don't trust me? If that's the case, I might as well die. Evan then dashed towards the wall. So ruthless. He was playing on people's sympathy for the weak, expecting me to be too embarrassed to make this public. Mark, stop him. No matter the scrutiny, for my child and my family, Evan had to be dealt with. Kathy, let's pause for a moment and talk. Speak. Jack, just say it all, forget about the rest. Uncle, on the day you were going to adopt me, I saw Evan tagging along with you up the hill. I followed too. But being young, I fell behind. When I reached, Evan was behind you, and he pushed you down. Uncle, if you don't believe me, I have your jade pendant here, which proves I was there. Jack pulled out the pendant on the spot. This pendant was a family heirloom for Mark, one of a kind. Evan couldn't keep up his charade and fell to the ground, his face pale. Staring at the jade pendant, Mark realized that Jack was telling the truth. With a sharp slap, Mark's hand landed on Evan's face. Dad, I just love you and Mom so much. I just wanted a family. Dad, please don't abandon me, Evan pleaded, bowing repeatedly. Watching Evan weep, Mark turned a worried look toward me. But does he really want to stay with us? Without the events of my past life, I might have bought into it. But deep down, all Evan ever felt for us was hate. Evan, you say you just wanted a family, so why did you try to harm my unborn child? Mom, you've never liked me. You can't blame everything on me just to throw me out. Dad, I swear I didn't hurt Mom. If I did, let me die a brutal death. Before Mark could speak, I threw hospital documents in Evan's face, showing his true nature. Seeing Mark's face grow paler, Evan knew the game was up. Ugh, pretending is so tiring. Evan suddenly stopped groveling and wiped his tears away. His sudden change stunned everyone. Mark quickly shielded me from him. Mom, why are you always so smart? I should have just used poison to kill you back then. Why do you hate us so much? This has been my lingering question through both lifetimes. Mom, why are you so foolish sometimes? If it weren't for you all, I'd be a millionaire by now. You ruined my future. Why can't I make you suffer a bit? Evan was no longer hiding his true feelings. You call me Evan, like a dog. Can't I hate you for that? You adopted me, but why didn't you give me the best conditions? Why did you have another child? Wasn't I enough? It's ridiculous how these petty reasons made him take so many lives and torture me everywhere. He's crazy. It's not our fault. Suddenly, I felt relieved. We didn't mistreat him or owe him anything. He's the one with a twisted mind. Evan, stop calling us Mom and Dad. We need to end this adoption. Mark finally saw Evan's true colors and wanted to end the adoption. Oh really? You think ruining my life lets you escape me? Not a chance. As long as I don't agree, you can't end the adoption. I'll cling to you forever. The law says if the adoptee is over 8, they must agree to end the adoption. Evan found a way to keep us stuck with him legally. I was worried about Mom, so I sent her back to the countryside. Evan started appearing in our lives every day, not even trying to hide. He acted like we didn't exist, using everything in our home. We couldn't make him leave. The adoption bond was still there. Dad, this place is dirty. Clean it. Mom, I want your spicy fish. Every day, he bossed us around. Even if we ignored him, he'd still talk to himself. When I heard a knock on the door, I went to answer it. Dad, do you think no one is after Mom because she's so beautiful? Maybe the baby isn't yours. When you're not home, she seems quite charming. Sometimes, I can't help but get tempted. Evan was deliberately provoking Mark. In a blink, Mark flew at Evan, grabbing his collar, ready to punch. Stop. We've been informed you're suspected of child abuse. Please come with us for investigation. The cops were at the door and saw Mark about to hit Evan. They took Mark away. Just like before, it was only me and Evan in an empty house. Mom, now it's just us. Evan slowly walked towards me, cornering me. Suddenly, I felt my strength slipping away and passed out. He had drugged the water. Awake, huh? I was trapped in the bathroom again, surrounded by the smell of gasoline. My dear Mom, if not for you, how would I have turned out like this? Evan stood before me, eyes bloodshot. If I can't be happy, neither can you. I'll make that dear dad of mine suffer forever. Before I could speak, he lit the gasoline with a lighter. Evan left the room, safe, leaving me weak and helpless. As the flames spread, I felt the heat. Was I destined to repeat my fate? I unwillingly closed my eyes. Kathy, where are you? Mom, my mom is here. I refuse to give up. This time, I'm not alone. Mom's here, and Mark's here. I can't fail. Hope for life sparked within me again. I'm here, Mom. I pushed myself to crawl out of the bathroom. Hearing my voice, Mom braved the flames, helping me towards the exit. Stay with me, Kathy. I can't live without you. Her tearful voice filled me with strength. Despite our effort to survive, the smoke weakened us. Mom couldn't get us both out. Mom, go. Don't let both of us die. No, Kathy. If we leave together. I can't live if you stay here. As we struggled, another person burst in. It was Mark. He came back for me. I could no longer keep myself together and passed out. Officer, it's not safe for my pregnant wife at home. Can I go check on her? No. Officer, I'm begging you. Evan hates us. I can't leave him with my wife alone. Officer, please. Thanks to Mark's instinct, Mom and I made it out of the fire alive. With my testimony, Evan was sent to juvenile detention for intent to harm. He couldn't continue being a menace to society. We finally ended the adoption. Mom, why'd you suddenly come to town? After everything settled, I couldn't help but ask. Kathy, your dad came to me in a dream, saying you were in danger and I needed to save you. My dad passed away before I got pregnant, but he's been watching over me. Mom didn't tell me that my second chance at life was my dad's doing from above. He couldn't bear to see his beloved daughter suffer a tragic death. He prayed for me to have a happy life, so I got a second chance. This time around, I didn't waste it. Mark, the baby, and Mom are all with me. I wasn't trapped. Evan got what he deserved. I heard when he aged out of juvenile detention, he couldn't integrate back into society. No education, too proud to do tough jobs, he starved under a bridge. Later, Mark and I temporarily lived with Mom in the countryside. Though we went through so much, our baby was strong and developing well. This time, we documented every step of the baby's growth. Every kick brought us immense joy. She would come into a world full of love. I protected her this time. Dad, thank you for giving my life another start. I'll live happily with your blessing.